Welcome back. The global community has moved to put sanctions on Russian oil since Russia invaded Ukraine in February of 2022. So it may come as a surprise to many that Russian crude oil is still making its way to Canada and to the United States. To tell us why this is happening, we're joined by Isaac Levi, team lead at the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air. Isaac, thanks a lot for joining us. This does come as a surprise to me, and I'm sure to many viewers as well. How is it that Russian crude oil is making its way to Canada, and is it being refined in refineries here?
Thanks very much for having me on your show. As you probably know, Canada was the first country globally to implement sanctions directly on Russian oil. So this prohibited the import of crude oil and refined oil such as diesel and jet fuel. However, once these sanctions were implemented on direct importation of Russian oil, the refining loophole remains, which is a legal mechanism by which Russian crude oil can turn up in countries such as India and Turkey, be refined into products like we mentioned, diesel, jet fuel, and then legally be sold to Canada. And we've seen a rise of Canada's imports of oil products from those refineries in India and Turkey that run partially on Russian crude of 2.5 times in the most recent year of 2024 compared to pre-invasion levels of 2021. So our estimates suggest that in 2024, Canada imported around $200 of oil products made partially from Russian crude since the start of the invasion. So this is something that is all legal, but it's expanding as companies act in their best interest to boost profits, sending huge amounts of money back to Russia.
What was that dollar value again? I think you misspoke. You said $200 worth of Russian oil. You must have meant something else.
Apologies, 200 million US dollars.
Right.
And the reason this is an issue is it's sending around 70 million US dollars of Kremlin tax revenues from the export of Russian crude that gets turned into refined products, such as we mentioned, diesel, that then go to Canada. So that's 70 million US dollars that the Kremlin is earning from that trade, that those Russian molecules are ending up in Canada, is enough to fund around 3,000 new recruits of soldiers fighting in Ukraine.
Is this an unintended loophole, an unintended gap in the sanctions framework?
We don't know whether it's something that is intended to enable sanctioning countries to get access to oil products, or whether it is an unintended consequence. But as a result, policymakers are enabling an expanding quantity of Russian oil to be sold on global markets and end up in sanctioning countries. So these countries like Canada don't need the oil products made from Russian crude. We've done an investigation to look at the price discount of this oil, and it's very marginal, maybe 2 or 3%. And it also consists of very, very small proportion of Canada's total oil product imports at around 2% in the most recent year of 2024. So it's not something that they need. It's something they could very easily ban. They would basically prohibit the import of oil products from those refineries that partially run on Russian crude. And we've seen case studies, for example, in the UK, where they ban the import of all manufactured goods that partially use Russian steel. This was very successful and prohibited around $1 billion US dollars going back to the Kremlin. So it's very important to show allegiance to Ukraine and cut off the Kremlin war machine's earnings through these exports of crude oil that then get turned into products and end up in those allies to Ukraine.
Is your group calling on the Canadian government to close this loophole? Or is there other pressure from other groups on this issue?
Exactly. So we've done this kind of analysis in the case of the US, the EU, the UK, and now Canada as well. We believe that Canada, which was, as we mentioned, the world leader, the first country globally to implement a ban on Russian crude oil directly, could become a world leader in closing this refining loophole and prohibiting oil from entering Canadian markets that's made from Russian molecules.
And the United States is also doing this, correct?
Yeah, exactly. The US is a much larger importer of these oil products made from Russian crude in Turkey and India. It's actually 13 times in terms of the quantity that they're buying from those refineries in comparison to Canada. So if Canada can lead the way by setting that legislation that would prohibit this trade from continuing, it would put pressure on the US and other sanctioning countries to follow suit.
Are you aware of this idea gaining traction at all within the Canadian government? Of course, the Canadian government, the federal government of Canada, is now very much in flux with a prime minister who's announced his resignation and a leadership contest in its early stages to replace him. But are you aware of any comment from Canadian government officials that this idea is under consideration, this idea of closing that flow of Russian products?
Well, I'm not personally aware of any statements made by Canadian politicians that support this quite yet. We do know in the US there are some senators that are supporting this policy, and we very much support this. It's something that would show allegiance to Ukraine, and without banning the refining loophole, it underwhelms and undermines a lot of the aid provided to Ukraine. So this is very much a policy that is easy to implement. It would cut off funds that Canada is sending indirectly to fuel the Russian war machine.
Isaac, thank you very much for an interesting conversation. That's Isaac Levi, team leader at the Center for Research on Energy and